When it comes to animal migrations, we often think of huge groups of animals moving in a single direction over land or sea. Think wildebeest in the Serengeti or monarch butterflies in the millions flying south for the winter. But there's one migration that may take the cake for sheer weirdness, and it involves an unexpected participant, the Caribbean spiny lobster. Every single year, these lobsters set off on a journey that takes them hundreds of miles across the seafloor. And they do it in such large numbers that the entire ocean around the Caribbean is sometimes dyed red with their shells. So why do they do this? Well, we don't know for sure, but we have some ideas. The strange thing about the spiny lobster migration is that we didn't even know it was happening until the 1960s. That's when researchers began exploring the Caribbean and noticed long, winding lines of these lobsters inching their way across the seafloor. The lines can stretch for hundreds of meters and contain hundreds of lobsters. Sometimes the lobsters form a chain, each holding on to the one in the front of it by the antennae. Other times, they seem to march more like single file. And while these migrations have been witnessed all over the Caribbean, the largest gatherings have been seen in the waters around the Bahamas. There, up to 60,000 lobsters have been counted in a single aggregation. The movement itself is pretty slow. Lobsters travel at about 3.3 feet per hour, which means a migration that covers several hundred meters can take nearly a whole day. But what exactly are they marching to? We're not sure. For many years, scientists struggled to understand why these lobsters would put themselves so close to danger every year. After all, migrating this way makes them easy prey for predators like sharks and groupers. And those are just the animals that can actually catch them. Lobsters are also vulnerable to being scooped up by passing fishing boats. One idea was that the lobsters were marching to their death. Perhaps they were going to a particular place to mate or molt or something else essential to their life cycle, an activity that would leave them vulnerable to predators. But if that were true, we would expect to see a lot more dead lobsters around these migration sites, but we don't. So this isn't likely the case. Instead, scientists now think that the safety in numbers provided by a large group of lobsters moving together may be the reason for this strange migration. Basically, there is so much going on in a lobster migration that it's hard for a predator to zero in on just one of them. It's like trying to eat spaghetti off of a plate when there's a giant ball of yarn in the way. Sure, you could do it, but it'd be a lot harder than grabbing a strand of pasta that is entangled with a bunch of other strands. Another benefit of migrating in a big group is that there is safety in numbers when it comes to finding mates. If you're a lobster looking to breed, you're more likely to find a potential partner when you're surrounded by lots of other lobsters that might also be looking to breed. It's also possible that the spiny lobster migration is simply a response to environmental conditions. Lobsters are known to be very sensitive to temperature changes and may migrate to follow water that is just right for them. Of course, we want to understand why lobsters migrate in these huge groups. But for now, we can all agree on one thing, no matter the reason. This is one strange migration. Thanks again to Brilliant for sponsoring this episode, and thank you for watching.